Hi, mining community. Welcome back to another episode of the Dig Deep the Mining podcast. And we have a returning guest today who appeared back in March 2021, which was episode 122. Bernard Aylward is the CEO of Kodal Minerals, a junior explorer with a primary focus on the immediate exploration and definition of the lithium mineralisation at the Bougouni Project in southern Mali. The company holds a highly prospective suite of assets in West Africa. Bernard has over 25 years experience as a geologist in the mining exploration across a variety of commodities and worked in many countries like Australia, Europe, South America and West Africa. And he's going to give us an update on Kodal Minerals. And obviously, they're involved in lithium, and lithium has done a remarkable job over the last few years. So that's see what Bernard has to say and about the project that he's involved in. So that's welcome Bernard to the podcast. How you doing, Bernard?
Great, thanks, Rob. Thanks for the introduction, and nice to be back. And funny looking back at 2021, midst COVID, midst a bit of downturn, and now we've come out into a fully optimistic horizon.
Yes, certainly. And obviously those that whilst you listen to this, please listen to the previous episode which we recorded in March 2021, and we can see how far the company has traveled. Just before we came online, a lot of things have obviously happened. But I thought we done a podcast two and a half years ago, but it was only 18 months ago, and obviously a lot has happened. So just wondering if you can give us a quick overview of the company before we go into a few more detailed questions.
Sure. Well, look, as you said, Rob, we are West African focused, and our priority, and we've been very clear about this since we actually acquired the Bougouni Lithium project in 2016, is to develop this project as quickly as possible. We acquired it 2016, first drilling December 2016, first resource late 2017. So we've been very quick. Following that, we did an ESIA study and received our environmental permit, completed a feasibility study in 2019, announced 2020, and lodged our mining license application in 2020. So, you know, really a very fast turnaround from a project that had no previous drilling, no exploration for lithium, to suddenly be lodging our mining license application. We were very pleased with that. Then, as we all know, COVID, some delays and some issues held us up for a while. But following that podcast we did in 2021, Rob, we had previously announced our feasibility study that was reflecting a cost environment and a pricing environment that was probably in the midst of a downturn in the lithium market. It had an early boom and then dropped away quite sharply. And subsequent to that 2021 discussion, you'll note that the lithium market dramatically increased from probably, in terms of a selling price, almost a 10 times increase. Costs have gone up, but certainly nothing like that. Interest in the sector has gone up. So consequently, interest in Kodal has increased dramatically as well. And while I'm very clear that our priority is Bougouni and the lithium project, we do have a suite of gold assets in Mali and Cote d'Ivoire, some really great projects that we'd love to do some more work on. And we will do. We've maintained those projects, and we look forward to further drilling there. Again, opportunity for our shareholders, but we're very clear. Priority Bougouni, great project, and we can discuss some of 2022 and some of the significant changes we've made that are leading to a very exciting 2023.
Yeah. So as you alluded to, wondering if you can just give us an update on what Kodal has been up to during this year, 2022, and what has been your main focus?
So leading into 2022, late late 2021, we were actually granted our mining license, and we'd been waiting for that for quite a while. But while we were doing that, we were actually continuing to update our engineering work, update our feasibility study. We had some studies going on in China, as well as in Western Australia and Africa, to improve our to improve what we think the way the project should be developed. And one of the key things that happened was we announced an update to the feasibility study in June 2022 that reflected an increase in cost, but also highlighted some clear opportunities for the project to be developed more quickly, to offer a very significant early financial return. And then we announced that in September 2022 that we were looking to actually commence the operation with what's referred to as a DMS treatment plant. And that's a DMS, dense media separation plant, that we will operate at the Nguilana prospect, where we can, on a relatively low capital of $65 million, construct a 1 million tonne per annum processing plant, be producing in the range of 120 to 130,000 tonnes per annum of spodumene concentrate. We think we can be up and running in a very short time from securing finance, probably no later than 15 months for that development to have been complete, and entering a market that's really hot for our product. And we see that as this great entry point. And following that and commissioning and running that for a period of 18 months to perhaps 2 years, we'd then be looking to construct a flotation plant. And the flotation plant would be a 2 million tonne per annum. It is the plant that we've published our feasibility study on. It does allow us to envisage a period where at Bougouni we're producing in the order of 300,000 tonnes per annum concentrate, having a very cash positive operation, as well as having the opportunity to fully develop the project through increased exploration, further delineation of the known deposits, further definition of the identified pegmatite veins that we haven't fully drilled yet, and greenfields exploration on our large land holding, which is 350 square kilometres. We think this offers a great opportunity for the company to develop and grow and really look to create something significant here.
Obviously, you mentioned about the DMS that you're putting forward.
Yep.
What are your immediate plans now, and what are the next stages leading up to commencing construction?
Yep. Well, part of our engineering review has actually been a lot of detailed engineering, detailed site planning in terms of tailings, waste dumps. We've had a lot of consultation with our hydrologists, our geotechnical engineers, pit design, and of course with the plant engineers. We're looking to construct a modular plant. So the key components there are obviously the 2 module DMS, both 600,000 tonne rated plants, and the crushing circuit. The immediate plan for us is to finish this design work, which we have had ongoing for quite a long time. It's a very good lead-in for the actual construction phase. But the key for us, and I've alluded to this several times in our RNSs and previous interviews, is that we're looking to finalise some discussions on financing. We have some very good proposals in front of us. We're looking to finalise some key items around those, and then look to move quickly into construction. That's our focus. We're very clear that the market needs our product. It's a great time to be getting into the development and mining, and as I said at the start, you know, the interest in our project increased dramatically since our last interview, clearly reflecting interest and demand for spodumene.
And obviously, moving on from that, the lithium price. Obviously, there seems to be a lot of conflicting forecasts out there in the market at the moment.
Yep.
What do you think is in store for, I suppose, the future over the next sort of 2, 5, sort of 10 years? Obviously, we've seen the lithium price sort of making a significant rise over the last few years. How do you see that moving forward?
Well, as I said at the start, you know, we've seen the cycle from a high to a low to now a greater high than we've experienced before. Actually, running parallel with that, of course, is we've seen that demand cycle go from, you know, extremely high to low to now an increasing demand. And some of the things I look at, rather than try and give you an outright prediction on a number, is to say, what do I think is actually happening with demand? And what I see is a much stronger uptake in electric vehicles, either hybrid or fully electric, a much greater uptake in the smaller scale electric vehicles, bikes, scooters, motorbikes, that are probably outstripping what people had stated as an expected demand. So consequently, that means that, to me, the demand-supply gap is still wide. There is some thought that perhaps that will start to close by around 2025, but some of the, you know, I don't know how detailed you can look at some of this review, but post-2025, it is predicted that the demand will increase and the supply will struggle to match that. So post-2025, we're probably in a positive pricing environment. Between now and 2025, I think we're in a steady to maybe slightly declining environment. But the pressure on groups trying to acquire product is very high. And we're seeing, I mean, I know it's only small markets that are announced when I see the Pilbara auction price, but, you know, they've been announcing prices over $7,000 a tonne. And while that's significantly higher than current market, we have seen in the past that the market actually rises close to what that auction price has been. So I think we're in a steady environment for a while. We may see some pullback, but I don't think it will ever. Personally, I don't think it's ever going back, you know, sub 1,000 or even to where we were when we said our 2019-20 study was based on a selling price of $680 a tonne. And actually that still demonstrated for us a very robust, good project, certainly worth developing and mining. So I feel we're in a very good position to manage a decline in the price, but an expectation that long term it will increase again.
Talking about supply and demand, and we were speaking just before we started recording. I interviewed Jeremy Rothwell of Cornish Lithium, who mentioned on the episode and what I recorded with him that even when they're in production, they're only going to produce 20-25% of the UK's lithium supply and demand that is needed. So I'm not sure where the rest of the lithium is going to come from. If you look more globally, how far short are we from the amount of lithium that is needed across the world?
Big question there, Rob. I guess again, in some ways, what I try and do to, again, not to be able to give you 100% answer, but I would just say, look, Canada has taken a view that it's looking at lithium as a mineral that needs to be protected, and put in place some issues around some Chinese companies investing in Canadian lithium projects. You look at United States declaring that lithium is a critical mineral. that's a bit of a sign that there is a clear thought that companies are not going to be able to meet demand. China has been active very early in the market. It's got involved with a lot of projects, and it's certainly advanced its capacity to treat and produce. So treat raw product, in our case the spodumene, in other cases the brine salts, to convert it to a material that's suitable for batteries. Their battery manufacturing is very strong, and their actual take-up of electric vehicles, as well as, you know, large-scale batteries for storage of green energy, for household use, and for multitude of personal products is amazing. And do I think there's globally going to be a shortfall? Yes. Can I see where it's coming from? Well, you know, there's always new veins, there's always new projects that will come up. But at the moment, some of those look a long way from being able to be developed and supplying the market.
Obviously, your project's in Mali. How's the political and security situation now there in country?
Yeah.
I did obviously see some reports of mining license not being issued. Could you explain sort of what impact this will have on Kodal?
Sure. Well, let me just address your last point first. And what's actually happened is that the government had undertaken an audit of the process of granting some licenses, has requested that the Direction Nationale de Geologie et des Mines, so the bureaucracy that handles mining license applications, does not take any new applications while they complete an audit and a review of the process and are looking possibly to update that process. What that means for Kodal really is no impact on us. All our licenses are granted. All our licenses are in good standing. We're in the process of renewing our Dog Bowler concession that's part of the Bougouni Lithium project. That's happening. The discussions that we've been having directly with the DNGM tell us that granted licenses are carrying on as normal, that they're available for renewal, that they're available for transfer if that was ever to happen, and for sale. So in our situation and in the majority of companies operating in Mali, there's no impact on this current halt to accepting new applications. So just to be clear, it's not a reflection on existing license, it's a review of the way new applications are processed, is our understanding. And moving on to comments about security and political situation, well, it's very, very fair to say that Mali's had a turbulent couple of years. Post the most recent democratic presidential election, there was a fair amount of civil unrest regarding the validity of that election. The government was unable to form a functioning government, and a series of large-scale public strikes and protests led to a military coup removing the government. And subsequent to that, there has been a government of transition in power. It's obviously the military government. They have declared that they will be holding elections in February 2024. The government is functioning well, in my view. We have received our mining license under the transition government. We're seeing that the bureaucracy and everything that we need to work with, the treasury, the mining, the export, are all functioning as normal. So politically functioning well, currently stable, elections coming up. But you know, what we can clearly say is that throughout all this time, mining has continued. No company has had an issue with its project or licensing or permitting or validity. and mining continues. And we in all our discussions with the government have been receiving very positive support for the development. It's clearly recognised that a new lithium mine in Mali is a positive. It moves away from being a purely gold-focused mining industry to moving into, you know, what we like to call the new age metals, or the, you know, green metals. And I think it will be great for Mali. So politically, we're in a good position. Security-wise, Mali has had some impact from rebels in the north and east of the country for several years now. There is an ongoing UN presence, and there is more of a focus on pushing the rebels back. It's well away from where we are. We might argue that the situation's improved, but operate. We still maintain a very quiet primary industry, farming focused region, 180 kilometres south of the capital, well away from any issues. And we've lived in the town for the last 7 years. I'm happy to be there, happy to walk around the town. I feel that there's no personal risk. Security wise, we're okay as well.
That's good to hear. And what are your thoughts on some of the other West African lithium developers like Atlantic Lithium and Gulmina, plus all the other exploration plays? Do you see sort of West Africa becoming a major lithium mining hub over the next few years?
I do. I think it's great. I really like Gulmina, fantastic project. Looks like it'll be large scale, requires flotation, 45 k's away from us, quite similar geology, development. You know, they're in the process of building, same as us, fully permitted, pro-mining country. It's going to happen. Atlantic Lithium, I like the look of that as well. I think it's got some pluses. It's in close to the port. Looks like a good project. Nice veins, pretty good metallurgy. I think that West Africa really has the potential to become a significant hub, and not just with the three of us who are proven resource and in reserve focused companies. There's a lot more exploration. There's a lot more positive news coming out of Cote d'Ivoire, out of Mali, some out of Guinea, you know, Senegal as well. And I think this actually is really positive, not just for West Africa, but also given the location. When you asked earlier about where could the UK or where could Europe be sourcing product from, well, I think, you know, the closest opportunity is actually in Africa for a lot of this. And we, you know, sometimes we look and say, well, there's a few years where at the moment China may be our main market, but maybe in the future we may be selling into Europe as well. Closer, demand for the product still high, great opportunity.
Obviously, we've talked mainly about lithium, but obviously I wanted to get your thoughts around your obviously gold portfolio. Have you sort of got any plans for 2023 for your gold portfolio?
Yep, absolutely. We have an advanced project in Mali, the Fatu project, historically explored by a Canadian company who declared a reasonably significant resource. We're looking to confirm and expand that. Our geologists have spent a fair amount of time in the field mapping. We've done some further geochemical sampling. We did a program of test drilling there that did confirm the gold mineralisation, did give us some indications of ability to expand that. Really like that project. We will be drilling at Fatu, and I think given its history, we can reasonably confidently say we'll be looking to delineate a resource there. In Mali, that will be our lead. work, obviously, Jelly Sud and Nangoloso to advance those projects. And then in Cote d'Ivoire, our Nile project in the north, there's been a new discovery made. Good grade, good width mineralisation, open along strike, potential again for further drilling to define a resource. So in Mali and Cote d'Ivoire, we've got advanced projects, drilling to define gold resources. And also we have advanced exploration. And, again, I'll refer to our Dabakala project that's got a fantastic anomaly, never been drilled. Korogo, great soil geochem anomaly, never been drilled, adjacent to projects with near defined resources. So, we've got a pretty exciting portfolio. We'd love to be doing some more work. Once we're up and running at Bougouni, that will be our focus for some of our team. But in the meantime, we are working them, but priority Bougouni.
So concluding, what's the sort of outlook for the next sort of 6 to 9 months in 2023 for the company? And if there's anything else that you want to add?
Well, look, I'd just say I think that 2022 has put us in a position that we're looking at a very exciting 2023. Shareholders have heard me allude several times to discussions we're having. We are looking to finalise those. A lot of our prep work is near completion. That means that once financing is finalised, we move quickly to a development phase. That gives us a great opportunity in 2023 to really transform the company. And I think an exciting future ahead of that. There's some exciting times coming at Bougouni. The Anguilana vein and how we can continue to expand that DMS operation, followed by the flotation operation, just gives us a great stepping stone to build the company into something significant. So that's the way I see us developing, and I hope our shareholders come along for a pretty enjoyable ride.
Yeah, and I'm sure they will. Bernard, I really appreciate your time again. Thank you for entertaining our audience and giving us an update on your portfolio project, lithium and gold in Mali. If our audience wants to reach out to you, if they've got any questions, want to find out some more information, how can they go about doing that? What social media platforms are you on?
Website has a contact, email to me. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. But generally, we do try and update through RNS, and any significant news items will be immediately out to our shareholders, and we know they're waiting. We don't like to keep people waiting too long, but some things I will say are clearly worth waiting for, and we're trying to make something that when it's received will be very well received.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Great to hear. All the best for 2023. Perhaps you want to come on later in the year to give us an update.
Sure. Thanks, Rob. And look, I just one quick finish. I'd like to thank all our shareholders for their ongoing support. But importantly, I'd like to wish everyone a happy and safe Christmas, great New Year, and looking forward to 2023.
Yeah. Good to hear. Thank you, Bernard. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for those that are listening. Again, appreciate all your help. Please share this episode and the podcast in general to all those in the mining industry, far, far wide, wherever you are in the world. Appreciate your continued support. And until next time, happy mining.